We are consciousness. We are great light being in a body. We are consciousness having a momentary human experience, and yet we've been attached to the ego and we've been believing everything that it says. And we've been living off of the fear that it runs our system in. And this great global awakening is that a mass amount of people on earth are remembering that they are not just a mind, they are not just a character playing a role in a show, but that they are the magnificence, the great intelligence, the creator that created all of this that is being experienced in the show.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to have Natalie Namaste with me today. Natalie, welcome.
Oh, it's so wonderful to be here with you. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, I have as well. I'm really excited about having you here. Natalie she's a psychic, she's a channeler, and she's also a healer. And that's just a small description of all of the tools that she has in her chest. But in this particular interview that we're going to discuss, we're going to talk about the global awakening. And we're also going to talk about the signs that we're changing and the tools to assist us in changing. But before we really start jumping into that information, can you give us just a little bit about how your gifts came forward? You might want to talk a little bit more about what you do, because I really shortened it up. And can you tell us a little bit more about your abilities and how you use them?
Oh, yes. Wow. So it's quite incredible. I feel like my mind is being expanded and kind of, how we say we're mind blown. I feel like I'm going through that every day because yesterday I thought I was like, oh, wow, I can channel so much light. And then today it's like, now I'm seeing everything turn into colors and I can feel what a person's been through in my own body. And then I can see what the experience is or what the belief pattern is, like what the mind is saying over and over again to create a certain frequency in their system. And so I can get to the root and like really heal things that are creating the outer world, because our outer world is a manifestation and appearance based off how we're vibrating, and that's all based off how we are emotionally and mentally. And so for me, I never forgot at a very young age. I remembered that I'm a soul in a human body. And I remember saying to my mom at a young age, I was like, whoa, this amount of light. And as I'm saying it to you now, I can feel the amount of light. It's so much like white high frequency light comes through me. And maybe others can feel it as well now. It just pours through. And then I send it to everyone, or like a particular situation that might be happening in our world, or whatever I'm feeling called to sending it to. And then I just get this deep sense of peace inside, and knowing that this light helps so many people. It helps to dissolve the shadow, the ego. It helps to heal the physical body of like illness and dis-ease, and it can change our world. And so I've had this powerful light flow through me since I was a little girl, and I've learned with the help of teachers and guides who took me under their wing how to harness it, how to work with it, how to understand it, and how to honor and respect it while still being embodied, so that I don't float off into the world. And it's been such a fun journey, and it's also included like having to face my own shadows and depression and sadness, and I feel like the sadness that I experienced was such a portal, a gateway into huge spiritual awakening for me. So the thing that's our hardest struggle is actually, it's got the most greatest fruit if we allow ourselves to embrace and embody it. So, yeah, that's just a little bit about where I'm at now and all the light that's coming through for you all.
Yeah, what a beautiful gift. Okay, so let's talk about the global spiritual awakening. Okay, so when we talk about that, and obviously we hear about it all the time, the Great Awakening. What's happening now? The global shift. The universal shift. All the different names for it. But to you, what is the meaning of the global spiritual awakening?
It is the unfolding of the layers of the egoic mind that have kept us limited in finite experience. It is the unlearning of all the conditions and the patterns that we've learned from our family, from school. It is about releasing the shadows, the layers that are constricting us from the magnificence and the creator, the power and the light that we truly are. It is that, all of that, which is blocking the truth of what we are. We are consciousness. We are great light being in a body. We are consciousness having a momentary human experience, and yet we've been attached to the ego and we've been believing everything that it says. And we've been living off of the fear that it runs our system in. And this great global awakening is that a mass amount of people on earth are remembering that they are not just a mind, they are not just a character playing a role in a show, but that they are the magnificence, the great intelligence, the creator that created all of this that is being experienced in the show. And everyone is starting to remember their power of the creator and remember the truth, the light that they are. And that is the spark. That just channeled through from the angels. And that is the spark. That's the initial great global awakening, is that so many, like the angels want me to use the word mass, like mass amount of people, like a huge amount of people are remembering at the same time, and um, that a huge amount of people are willing to do the work, meaning look at their own mind and look at their own character that they've been playing and start to disidentify with that which is not them anymore and remember who they are. And so, because it's happening on such a huge scale, it is shifting the frequency on our planet. And we are able to hold more light physically while we are on Earth. And that's amazing.
It is amazing. And as you were saying and you were talking, number one, I'm glad you said who you were channeling, because I was going to ask you that. um, but the other thing is that what I was hearing when you were talking is this beautiful wish that all the humans could really understand their potential, and humans that are struggling or can't see that the happiness or the joy or the light that is within their own selves. I wish that every human that's walking on this earth, no matter what the circumstances are that surround them, could feel what you just said and could truly understand what you just said. And I don't know why I keep saying the word I wish, but apparently that's what I need to be saying at this time. But I really do wish that we could all see that and see that aspect within us. So and again, I just thought that was just a beautiful, beautiful description of what is happening. And so thank you to your angels for providing that. So at this time today, at the present moment that we're in, what do you think that we as the human race need to be the most aware of what's happening within ourselves, such as the physical changes, the emotional changes, the mental changes? What do you think that we need to be most aware of?
the resistance. The angels are saying that for so long on the earth we have been resisting parts of ourselves. And when we resist the shadow or resist the emotion, we stop a natural wave. Everything is a wave of energy. An emotion is a wave. A thought is a wave. And all waves want to flow and move. And when we allow what is to be what is, when we start to allow ourselves to see all the different parts of ourselves and accept them, in that allowing and that acceptance, this great immense love evolves and expands from deep within. So to get more okay with being in moments of discomfort, there are many waves of change happening on the earth, and they are meant to be. They are here for a reason. They are to break down old systems and old patterns so that no one can be held in a holding pattern, but that you can be set free. And to get to that freedom is to be okay with sitting with your own shadow when it comes up to the surface. Next time when you have a strong emotion that's uncomfortable, or a thought that knocks you sideways and makes you feel vulnerable or scared or fearful or anxious, or whatever emotions it brings after its initial emotion, to say to yourself, I give myself permission to be the witness, to observe that which is in my field, that which is arising for me, that which I'm experiencing. And then within the acceptance of that which is showing itself, something deep and powerful happens. When I'm no longer resisting, it means I am accepting, and in accepting, I am loving, and loving heals. It brings me back to wholeness, and I no longer feel split and separate from consciousness. I start to remember and I start to feel whole again. I start to feel part of something big and special. I start to feel the love that I am. And the love that I am is then able to hold space for anything that's uncomfortable, that may arise. And I hold space for it all. I witness it. I observe. I watch. Anything that comes in, and I know that whatever's coming into my reality is for me. It's a growth gift. It's an opportunity for me to observe, to witness, and through the witnessing, the light that I am dissolves the shadow. And as the shadow dissolves, I feel freer. Freer to know who I really am. Not the mind, not the patterns, not the emotions, not the body. I am the thing that is aware of it all. I am the awareness. And the only way that awareness can know itself is by having appearance. This mind-made dream, all of this that is showing up, appearing. Through the appearance, one can know oneself, the great awareness, consciousness that you are. And the gateway is acceptance.
Okay, so when you talk about acceptance, what does that mean? Accepting what? Yourself? Change?
Yeah, it's layered. So, first of all, accepting whatever's going on in your reality in this very moment. If things are tough, if they're hard, instead of going, oh, I just can't wait till a good moment comes, that means you're resisting. Or if you're feeling pain in your body and you go, oh, this is a problem, I've got to solve it, you're resisting. So accepting means going, okay, I've got some pain and discomfort in my body. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to breathe into it. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to let go, surrender into it. So that's on a physical level. Then on a mental level, when the mind comes in with its racing thoughts or it's saying something hurtful and it's making you feel uncomfortable, you go, hey, mind, I see you. Like, I accept that you are saying some mean things to me right now. But the beautiful thing is that I am witnessing you saying it to me. And when you accept that the mind is speaking, saying some horrible things to you, something magical happens because you're accepting that the mind's saying that. So you're no longer running away from it. And you, awareness, creates an arm's length of space between what the mind's telling you. So you actually create space between the mind and the truth of you, the awareness. So accepting the mind and what it's saying doesn't mean you have to agree with it. You just accept that it's busy and it's saying hurtful things. You accept the physical situation that you're in, that you're feeling, and through that acceptance, love can heal. You accept the emotions, like hardcore, uncomfortable emotions, and instead of going, I want to cling to joy, I want happiness, and I want to resist feeling depressed or anxious, you go, okay, anxiety, it's me and you. I accept you. Something incredible happens when we do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's extremely helpful. I kind of going down the same path. A lot of people, there's some atrocities going on around the world right now, and some people are suffering and they're having really bad experiences. And for us to be the observer or even to be a part of that, a lot of times people really have a hard time in understanding the journey and why are these people physically being harmed. Why are they the victims of starvation, starving all around the world, and then plus the other things that are going on that have to do with the wars and different things. But when I'm looking at a situation that looks so horrendous to me, help give us some guidance in, first of all, not being pulled into the story, recognizing what the mind is telling us about the situation. And also, a lot of times people feel like they have to feel the pain of suffering of others, or else there's something wrong with them. They're cold, or they're insensitive, don't have any compassion. So can you kind of help guide us through that?
Yeah. So, first of all, worry actually lowers our frequency and it sends out, the angels have showed me like this jagged kind of pattern instead of the smooth wave. And so the moment we start worrying, the mind will loop us and it will lower our frequency, and then we become more susceptible to like illness or all sorts of things. So what we want to do is we want to recognize that, oh, worry is coming in and I'm concerned, I care about others. And that's such a beautiful human trait that we all have inside every one of us, even those that might be like quite stuck in their lower mind and disconnected from their soul. And even they, deep, deep, deep down inside, do have compassion and caring. We do care for each other. And so knowing that actually where the worries are rising from is a beautiful place deep in your heart that you deeply care and love, and recognizing that. And when you recognize that, immediately your frequency goes lighter. And then you can do something so powerful. You can ask the universe to shine light on the certain areas in the world that need light, the people that need light. That makes a huge difference. And it actually makes a greater difference than lowering your frequency into worry and then sending the jagged worry energy, because that actually just impacts the low frequency that's already being experienced in the world. So it's not about like ignoring that you feel worry, but it's about recognizing that your worry comes from love and care, and then tapping and then raising your frequency and then sending the higher frequency light to others.
Mhm. Well, I think that that's really significant because if we start thinking about when we worry, maybe worrying about our kids, worrying about our parents, worrying about situations, how it makes our body feel. And when you start getting in that worry thing, everything starts tightening up. I always see our body, like this is how our body's supposed to be. And when we start worrying or living in fear, then we start doing this. And I see us kind of turning into a C shape instead of being able to stand up tall. And so with the understanding of how that heavy, denser energy is literally, it's changing our posture. It's giving us the knot in our stomach. It's giving us pains, disharmony. And so when you can think about if that's what's that energy is doing to me, then what am I putting out in the universe? And so if I can stand in that I'm concerned, but I'm concerned because of the love, then all of a sudden that changing that perspective, the love energy helps you to stand up and you immediately stand up taller and you stand more in your heart space, which gives us all strength. And that's what is emanating from us. Is that right?
Exactly. And and the thing about fear and worry, yeah, it's a contraction, and love is an expansion. And when you start to remember, oh wow, actually this is all coming because I'm a good person, because I've got a good heart.
Uh-huh.
You remember how beautiful you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once again, standing in the place of love, which is significantly important. You also mentioned one other thing that some people may not fully understand the term shadow, our shadow self. Can you give us a definition of what that is?
Yeah, so it's actually so crazy and amazing because our mind is so powerful, and our mind is it has the ego, the lower mind, which we can use to navigate our life on earth, and then our higher mind, our soul. And what can happen is throughout our lifetime, from when we're young until this moment, we are learning from our environment. We, especially when we're young, we have like mirror neurons that are mirroring our parents and other children and our environment, and so we learn patterns from others. We and in those patterns, because on our earth the collective mind has had it's been run on fear for a long time. I'm not good enough. Or I need money in order to survive. Um, I I have to do this in order to be seen. It pushes us, and it's these patterns that have formed that are the shadow. The shadow is the lower mind or the ego that is running us and um, causing us to react to our environment from a place of fear. So, for example, and I've observed this. I've been doing this for 25 years. I was like, I want to understand this deeply. What is this? I've observed what the ego does. It pulses a current in the solar plexus, like the stomach area. It does a pulse like that, and it's directly connected to like a fear or scarcity thought. And then it causes us it feels like a black empty hole. And then it causes us to want to fill that space because it feels uncomfortable. And so then we react to our environment. This is the shadow. This fear that's causing us to react, that's causing us to act. um, it's If we take action from a place of fear, it it magnetizes in challenges or situations that aren't that fluid and flowing and easy. And when we there's another energy that pulses also in the solar plexus, the soul, our intuition. When a high frequency pulse that comes in, which isn't contractive, it's expansive. And that's where you feel desire, inspired, passion, excitement about creating or doing something here on earth. When that happens, that's the higher self, that's the soul. That's, you want to run with that. You want to create with that and run until there's no more desire, and that's as far as you run. Um, and then so the shadow, it's that part of us, it's that part of the mind that has a hold over us. It's the part that puts us down, that speaks to us negatively, that judges others, that criticizes, that makes us feel like we're not worthy, that we aren't the great creator that we are. And it tells us, it's like, oh no, you can't create whatever you want in this world. It's that is the shadow. And when we believe it, we actually feed energy to it. And that blocks us, that stops us from the great creative energy that we have, because we are infinite creative beings having a finite human experience.
Yeah.
And so that's the shadow, and that's where we've got to do the work. Like,
Mhm.
we've got to dissolve that thing that's blocking us from the light that we already are.
Yeah. Well, I think you explained that beautifully. So thank you. So what I heard you say in this, so make clarify if I'm incorrect, but basically the shadow is a pretty big part of the ego. Is that
Yes.
correct? We can call it, so the ego and the shadow are basically kind of hand in hand,
Yeah.
if they're not the same.
Yeah.
So, there's belief systems, and, there's scientific, the world of psychology um, has made it very clear that we can't live without our ego. You know what I'm getting ready to ask. I personally believe that that's false. so, so can because people feel like that. They feel that, well, science says, psychology says that we have to have our ego. It's our protector. It's what we're supposed to have in order to stay safe. So, how do you feel about that, and what can you tell people about letting that go?
Yeah. So it's not about trying to kill the ego and get rid of the ego. The ego does have an important role. I mean, the ego, when it's clear and not foggy with all the clouds, when it's clear, it's incredible. You can really, the higher mind, the soul can pick up the ego, use it to create, use it to like be here, like navigate this wonderful 3D world, and then put it down. So what I've noticed is it's not that we're trying to like get rid of the ego, but that we actually accept it, accept that the mind thinks, the lower mind, the ego thinks, its role is to think. But are we attached to the thoughts? Are we attached to the character? Are we believing every single thought that it's thinking? That's where the problem actually lies.
Mhm.
And so, as we start to let go, create more space between us, the true us, awareness, and the ego, then we're able to witness the thoughts and the patterns, and we're able to dissolve them, and then the ego transforms. Instead of the ego running the show, controlling from fear, it changes,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. I've witnessed this.
Yeah.
It's it's it becomes lighter, it becomes more clear, it becomes quieter. And
Mhm.
that's not because you force it to become quieter, it's because you empty it out from the shadow.
Yeah.
It's like being in a room that's so full of furniture, and then you shine a torch at the furniture and you start dissolving it.
Mm.
And then all those pieces go out and you're left with an empty space. So the ego then rests
Mhm.
upon consciousness.
Mhm.
And when that happens, you are present
Yeah.
and you can have real spiritual
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah. And exactly what I was thinking was, it's basically cleaning up the ego. So, like you said, I was thinking that right before you used the room as a description, and I think that that's a perfect way. It's more or less just kind of cleaning out what's not happy and joyful.
Yeah, it's cleaning out those those thoughts that are hurting you, that those thoughts that are keeping you small. See, you are actually the most beautiful, divine, limitless being. And when the ego starts to let go of its grip, it actually comes along for the ride, and it's like, oh wow, this is amazing. And you blow the mind open, and it's powerful. It's hard work. This isn't easy. It can't be done just in 1 second.
Yeah.
It takes awareness, being really aware of it, because what happens is we're so close to the ego that we actually, until we wake up, we think we are the ego.
Right.
We think we're that voice.
Right.
Then we can have a waking up, and we realize, whoa, 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 hold on, there's two voices here, the soul, the ego, and there the work begins. There we start dissolving all of that which we thought we were. And then we actually tap into that which we really are.
Mm-hmm.
We can only know what we are when we unlearn what we're not.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So now that we've laid the groundwork for this awakening, how do we get prepared? And this may be kind of a vague question, but how do we get prepared for this shift, this different way of being?
Yeah. So it's happening gradually, even though it feels fast. So it's this weird feeling of like things feel fast, but it's at a speed that we can handle. So the angels want everyone to know that it's divine timing, and your every soul that's born on earth was prepared for this. Every soul chose to be here at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Heard the signal, you felt the energy, and you chose to be born. So that means you're ready for it.
Yeah.
What it is that this shift is that the mind can handle and enjoy much higher frequency light. More light can be embodied. More love can be experienced and expressed, and we can be heart-led. And so what the angels are saying, the most important is to continue to maintain awareness so that you continue to do the work of dissolving the ego, so that the shift doesn't shock you. So like, for example, if someone is not awake, if they believe they are their ego, and then this high frequency light that's comes in, it could shock them, but it's not anything that they won't be ready for. A shock sometimes is a good thing. Sometimes we need to be like woken up a little bit so that we're not so confined. And so with this shift that's taking place, what's very important is to honor where you're at and not get scared if you start to have physical ascension symptoms. Because having more light coming in, more light available to us, and this is happening, it's so exciting. There is more light on earth because each one of us is doing the work. We're dissolving the shadow, which means the light that we are shines brighter. So because there's more light, we start to see, hear, feel, experience things in beyond what we've experienced before. So things will be a bit crazy at first. Like you might, like so many people say to me, I've got tinnitus. I'm like, well, actually you're hearing different frequencies. You're hearing different dimensions. Other people are saying, Natalie, I'm seeing things like flashes of light, or everything goes fuzzy and like, or I'm feeling things in my body. Like I feel dizzy, or like a nauseous feeling, like something strong's happening here. Don't be scared of what's happening. Embrace it. It's exciting. It means that you are carrying more light. And so the physical body takes a little bit longer to adjust to the amount of light that's coming in. Mm-hmm. So we just have to be patient and loving with it. What I find is rest more, less going out and about, like making sure that if you do go out and about, come home and sit in silence to decompress, to release some of that energy. If you're running with excess energy in your system, which can be felt as anxiety, shake it out, breathe it out, sound it out, release it. Get excess energy in the system can be uncomfortable. So help that energy to come out. That's really going to help. And and to be excited because the angels have said to me that this isn't going to happen again. The
Mm-hmm.
time is now, because once there's a massive awakening, and once this really has taken over, then all the new babies that are being born, they'll never fall asleep
Right.
like we all have. And if they don't fall asleep, there'll be no awakening because they'll never forget.
Right.
So it's really, this is a miracle that we get to have been asleep and to awaken. The actual process of it all is incredible.
Yeah, that's making my head tingle. That feels good. Um, so okay, so now that we've kind of gone through this process and we recognize kind of the steps, so once we really start getting into this new body, this new energy, this new field, what can we expect when we? It's like, what will our lives look like? How will things be?
I'm going to close my eyes and let the angels channel the answer direct. Oh, there's immense love coming through. I can feel teardrops of love. There's a deep knowing. People feel in tune with themselves. They know who they are. Their soul here in a body, their consciousness, their light, and they're free to create. They're able to then use the lower mind to go, okay, what more do I want to experience? What more would I like to bring into this mind-made wonderful dream that we are in, that we are creating? And then everything's going to be from the heart. The heart's going to be leading pulses of light. There are schools that love and accept children, high frequency children. There are a lot of high frequency children being born on earth. What you call these children is, you call them on the spectrum. There's ADHD and autism, and there's many different names you give to them, but in actual fact, these are high frequency beings and they just haven't been accepted. Now, as this change is occurring, they are being accepted and revered for their high frequency. And then there are schools that honor the difference in children and and give children space to find in their heart what they love. They will not have to learn what a pre-programmed conditioning of learning that will no longer exist. This will transform. They will be schooled and taught to choose what they love, what they enjoy, and supported within blossoming from that space. This will mean that no longer will people feel like they have to do work, but rather that what they do is what they enjoy. This will then change the frequency of money. The frequency of money is, it's always meant to just be energy. It will turn back to being a joyful energy that's given and taken from something that you do because you love it. There will be communities, many people coming together, huge groups of people in resonance, feeling the frequency, that can meditate together, that can raise the frequency, that can support others as others are still catching up with this great high frequency light. All will be loved, all will be welcomed in this energy. New plants blossoming, rivers clearer, cleansed, waters feeding the cells of your body, high frequency light, health, wholeness, living longer in a higher frequency space and consciously dying, knowing when you're going to die and meditating yourself out of your body. Those who are leaders, the leaders will be chosen from a place of love, and there will be more feminine energy leading. There will be more softness. There will be more love guiding the people. But first, what is happening is that there is a crumbling of the old patterns. Right now, you are in a rebirthing canal. You are crumbling and breaking down the old patterns. This is good. You are recognizing things that no longer work, and you are standing up and saying no more. This will be a few more years of this, more people coming together and saying no more, and we want to stand in our light, and we find our light. And as this happens, this beautiful golden future that once was golden Atlantis will be born again through you, dear ones. It exists already as a seed in your heart. Keep nurturing your heart. It is the gateway for this to be born, to be birthed, to be experienced through you.
Perfect. And I completely agree. My Akashic masters have said the same thing, just a little bit different words, but exactly right. I mean, exactly the same thing. Yeah, which is always amazing to me. Same message, just different forms of the way we receive it, different guides, but it's always the same message.
Isn't
Yeah,
that incredible?
it really
It's,
is.
yeah, we're channels of the same message, just with different like symbolism, like the words.
Yep.
But it's the same. It's the oneness. It's like oneness gets to be back here
Yeah.
while we're embodied.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Everything you said. Yes. 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 It just makes me so happy. So, how what are some signs that we can start recognizing that we're letting go of this old reality?
Hmm. I'm just gonna feel into them. Gosh, okay. The angels just said chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest sign. Because if we didn't have the chaos or the craziness, everything would remain the same. If we stayed comfortable, we wouldn't wake up. It's like if you're if you're dreaming, you're in a dream, and it's just a normal, comfortable dream. When you wake up, you don't really remember the dream. But when you have a crazy dream and you wake up, you're like, oh, whoa, what did I just dream about? There's emotion running through you. That's what's happening here. We're having so much turbulence, so much that once was just settled and rooted in is being uprooted and changed because it can't go on the same way. The pattern cannot continue. And this is a huge sign that we're doing it. We're saying no to old patterns. We're saying yes to new ways, even though we don't fully know what they are. We're trusting. And that's what the angels are saying. Well done to each one of us for going, it's we're in the unknown. These are uncomfortable times, but something deep inside of me is still going, trust. And the angels say that that bit of trust, that hope is so powerful. That is what's like carrying us forward into this new earth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, and there's two things that we hear a whole lot about, and one of them is soul contracts. We have soul contracts at this particular time. Some of the signs or the symptoms of what's happening is that jobs are ending. We're not happy in our job anymore. People are coming and going out of our lives. So let's talk about the soul contracts. How are soul contracts in play at this particular time?
It's fascinating because so many soul contracts are coming to an end. And when we have closure of one thing, it creates space for something new. And so, ways in which people can know that if a soul contract's coming to a close is where you've once had like desire and excitement about something, all of a sudden that desire and excitement kind of just it changes direction. You're no longer wanting to focus on that project or that work you were doing. It doesn't excite you anymore. It just kind of wanes away. And in that space, something new arises, like from the depth of your soul. And you're like, oh wow, I'm gonna do this next.
Yeah.
And so falling away
Yeah.
of once what you were once excited about. And then relationships, uh, with friends, with family, with different people, you're just not in resonance anymore. So you're not seeing eye to eye, you're not understanding each other. It feels like you're speaking a different language. It's okay to let each other go with love. Just let each other go. Don't try control or hold each other. It's a sign of a contract ending, and your souls have played a perfect role for each other. You've both received exactly what you've needed from each other. So with love, you can let each other go, and then what that might look like is that someone else appears in your life because there's more space in your heart for someone else, um, or you might just want some alone time to really get to know the true self, the soul that you are, and then go even further and come back home into the oneness that's available to you right here in the present moment. So like that happens when we're less cluttered and busy with other people. And you know what? People are reflecting back to us ourselves. So when we finished learning a certain lesson, we don't need that person to reflect that lesson back to us. They don't have to be our greatest trigger or teacher in that way anymore. So that releases and changes.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm just getting the sense like there's a third one. So it's when soul contracts coming to an end. Yeah, the way in which you show up changes. So you start to notice that you're different. You're not who you were even last week. You're different. And so there's like two things that happen. The lower mind, the ego will kind of go, oh, I'm not ready. I'm still attached. So you'll notice it. It'll kind of like bring some residue, attachments, fears. When this happens, don't be scared. Know that you're really close to ending a soul contract and being free and opening a new one. And so that's what happens. It's just this like residue that's starting to release, and just witness it, and it will clear.
Yeah. And I'm finding that this is really happening a lot, a whole lot. And they are a little bit confused. And, when a relationship ends, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, romantic relationship, or whatever it may be, people have a tendency to start getting nervous about that. And that's why I think it's really important to recognize that there's a whole bigger picture here, because the old stories in our mind, create the idea that, well, did I mess up? What did I say? What did I do? Or, what's, going back into making ourselves small again, for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so the other thing, and I just want to touch on this really quickly because there's a lot of talk, there's the idea of the veil. People talk about the veil, and I haven't heard it as much recently as I have in the past. And there's a lot of talk about the veil as thinning. Okay, number one, to you, what is the veil, and what does it mean for the veil to become thinner?
The mind is the veil, and when the veil becomes thinner, it means the mind is less clogged up with thoughts and emotion. It's clearer, and it means that you can hear your higher self, your soul. You can start to hear, sense, experience connection to your guides, angels, loved ones who have passed. Imagine a mind that's not thinking 24/7. In that space, what happens?
The magic. That's where the magic happens. Yeah, yeah. So, what are some signs that we can start becoming more familiar with to recognize that we are living in the fifth dimension?
Immediately, I'm being shown heart, heart, heart. So, for so long, it's been the ego, the mind running the show. What's happening is we're starting to feel more. And so, people are becoming way more sensitive, and this is beautiful. Your sensitivity is the way, it's your guidance. There's like these filaments that go ahead of you and can feel the way. Like an obvious one is when you walk into a room and you can just feel who you want to talk to, where you want to be in the room. That is real. And so what's happening is, as we're less controlled by the mind, we sense and feel our way through. And it's amazing because you'll kind of just sense what you want to do today, and you'll sense what you want to do next, and you'll be so divinely guided that everything becomes so much easier, more fluid, and it's so enjoyable because it's less jagged from the ego. It's so it's loving, it's nourishing, it's warm. These are some of the qualities that you start to embody, and you notice, oh wow, I'm even more patient with myself. Wow. And you're like, you start to recognize, I'm more tender, I'm more loving, I'm a nicer person. These are the signs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you had mentioned that when we start recognizing that we're kind of jumping into this shift, that the chaos begins. So when the chaos begins, how can we work through it? Now, not only the chaos, because in my way of thinking, chaos is also created because of our belief systems. Not only are things shaken up, but our belief systems and our trauma create the stories around what's happening that can make it be a little bit more, oh my God, my life is ending, the world is going to end. It makes it a little bit more chaotic and more emotional. So how do we figure out how to, number one, recognize what's triggering us, what's taking us into this place of chaos, and how we really recognize when the chaos is just a story that we've created because of our belief systems or our experiences, all of the stuff that goes along with that.
Well, the great news is all chaos is created in the mind, which means we found the root of it immediately, which means mind is energy. It's very powerful energy. Like no scientist can say what mind really is. It's just really powerful, and it's creating our environment. It's how we're having the experience. And so because it's energy, we can work with it. We can shift and change it. It's malleable. So, what is a belief? A belief is a thought that's reoccurred over and over again that has emotional charge attached to it. So, we believe it to be real. When we have emotion, we believe the emotion makes things feel tangible. Emotion makes us feel alive. It makes us feel like it's real. Okay? So, when we actually look at what a belief is, that it's, where does a belief come from? It comes from recurring thought with emotion. And where does that come from? It comes from energy. Then we can know that all beliefs are not real. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
All beliefs are not real. So then what is real? The truth, the absolute truth, is consciousness oneness. And in that space, there's no separation. However, consciousness has created a mind so that it can know itself, that it can experience itself. So the gateway to come back home to unity is through the mind. So we leave the oneness through the mind to have the separate experience, and we come back to the oneness through the mind. And the way that you can work with dissolving the chaos is by recognizing that the chaos begins in the energy realm of the mind. It begins inside, and that's very empowering. It means that the chaos hasn't been created just out there. It actually has been created in here too. And because we're so close to our own mind and we identify with it and we think we are it, sometimes we don't recognize the chaos and the thoughts that are it's thinking. So all that's needed is to create a bit of awareness to know that you are not the mind, but you have a mind. You are the awareness. You are that space in between the thoughts. And the more that you stop feeding awareness, awareness is powerful light, okay? So the mind goes think, 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 think. Awareness goes, I focus on the thoughts. The mind with its think, think creates the reality.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were to go, okay, I am the awareness, I retract awareness away from the thoughts and into my body because my body is in the present moment. So I'm going to retract awareness from thoughts for a moment, be in my body, just bring all awareness, which is powerful light, into my body. Just for half a second, there'll be no mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more chaos is being created if there's no mind. So, in that half a second, you have then come back home into presence, into the powerful consciousness that you are, and that creates magic on earth. And all it takes is half a second.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts to dissolve all the chaos.
Yeah. 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 Because to me, okay, this is how I see chaos. It's number one, it's always an experience. There's never good or bad. Everything to me is always just an experience. What makes it chaotic or causes anxiousness in my body or causes me to panic, become fearful, is exactly what you said. It's our belief systems, and it's the way that we're observing the situation and creating the chaos in our minds because of the stories that the mind is saying. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. And then by having the awareness of the stories, you can even say this to your mind. You can go, story, story. You can just point out like that the mind is making up stories. And just by you doing that, you're creating a distance from it. And the
Mhm.
chaos no longer is taking over emotionally.
Yeah.
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 And you can actually start to feel peace inside.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that this is extremely important for us as humans to understand because we were, society really has created us to live in chaos. It's the stories of, well, let's start telling a story that we can get people stirred up about. Well, there's feeding the chaos. Let's, and you can go back, from your childhood and the things that you hear your parents talking about. Maybe they're talking about each other or somebody else, the neighbor down the street did so, so did something, and they're all in an uproar about whatever it is, and we're taking all of this in, and then we start staying in that or being conditioned to be in that pattern, and
Yeah.
now yeah. And now here we are at this time where I call it deprogramming. We're basically deprogramming all of these old belief systems, the old ways of being. And we, not all of us, but, I think that we can say that this time really is meant to bring awareness to the stories that we've created that create the chaos, but then also being able to understand that we don't have to be there, that we can let it go, that we have permission to let it go, and that, yes, I actually can live in peace and in love without the chaos.
Yeah, because our systems have been so conditioned to that the chaos makes us feel alive. That's why we're so drawn to it. So we'll see it on the news or whatever we're looking at, and we'll be like, oh, and then we feel alive. But what we're with this deprogramming and this beautiful shift that we're in, we're realizing that we can feel even more alive in a state of peace and harmony. Like if you just bring awareness into your body right now, all the cells are vibrating. They're vibrating, and that is you being alive. And that is so much more enjoyable
Yeah.
than having to run on fight or flight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So the reason why I have this podcast is to help people understand what we're talking about right now, but also to be able to maybe introduce tools that people can use in order to assist them in letting go of the chaos belief, these different belief systems and the different traumas. And you have a number of tools. So I'm gonna name a few off, and if you would just kind of give a brief explanation of what it is and how or why to use it. So one of the things you do is soul regression. And so what is it in a short thing, because we're running out of time and I don't want to put this in. So what is it and how can it benefit?
Your soul has lifetimes of experiences which it holds energetically. So being able to tap in to your soul experiences, you're able to heal and release some memory that it might hold from a past life that you could have had a tragic or hard death or life, which is showing up as fear or behaviors in your current life. So it's really healing and liberating. But also to get to know that you've got these amazing qualities from lifetimes that you've lived before, that you're a natural teacher or a natural guide or leader or whatever it is that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Generational healing.
We don't just carry the energy of like the color of our eyes or the DNA coding of our ancestors. We carry the energetics of them, what they believed in, their beliefs and their feelings and how they lived has been carried down generation to generation. So it's up to us. We can take responsibility to notice what we're carrying from our ancestors, what we're believing that they believed, and dissolve it and heal it and release it so that we're not just a continuation of a pattern, but rather that we are free to be the fullness of consciousness in a body.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Crystal healing. How do you use the crystals?
So I do in person and online, and just having the crystals there in the space, I'll be told by the angels which crystals are needed to support which area. So, for example, if a person is needing clearing, a clear quartz crystal will come in. If a person's struggling with their mind or their self worth, a citrine, a yellow crystal, which will help the solar plexus chakra. The crystals hold frequency that is so beyond what we can understand in the mind. It can help to bring us back into harmony. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So color healing.
Oh, it's powerful. So I'll be working with someone and all of a sudden the color will come in. Either I'll hear it or feel it or see it. And I'll know that that color is needed for the specific thing that they're going through. For example, if someone is suffering from a lot of anxiety, a cool blue will come in to help to counterbalance that strong yellowy orange fire that's inside of them.
Cool. Breath work.
The breath is spirit. The breath is the sacred way back home, and it's in the present moment. We are being breathed every moment. And so by registering and acknowledging and being with the breath, you can come home.
Okay. All right. And the last one is Reiki.
Oh. Ray is universal, key is energy. Oh, it's the most powerful thing I feel we have on this earth because it's the universal energy of all that is. And when we connect to it and receive it, it sends a signal to our body, mind, soul, every part of us, emotions that we can relax back home into oneness. It's powerful
Mm-hmm.
and it transmutes the darkness and the shadow, and it can help us to truly remember who we are. I've seen over 25 years, I've seen so many people heal from physical, like something they've had their whole life, or it works at the readiness of the person that is receiving the healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm just a conduit. I'm not a healer. I'm a channel for this infinite light to do what it's ready to do, and it works at the level that the person is ready for.
Yeah. And I think that the energy work typically works that way. And it's like it's kind of just chips away with whatever. And that's the way the universe works. You know, it's like they know what you can handle. So they'll give you what you can handle. Then when you process through that, then okay, well, let's do round two or let's do round 56. whatever it is that finally brings you to that point. So it's a gradual acclimation to what you're having to let go of and what's being brought in. But Natalie, fabulous. Thank you so much for all of your wisdom and information. This has been great. So how do people get a hold of you, and what services do you offer?
Oh, there's three places. There's my YouTube community where I channel the angels and do energy updates, and people can ask questions, and I'll channel answers in the in the videos. So that is Natalie Namaste Healer. And then there's my Instagram, which has like powerful tools, and it's like daily tools to help you just to like with the chaos,
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's Natalie Namaste with an underscore at the end. And then go and visit my website and spend a bit of time there because there's some free resources. Like on the first page, there's a meditation that can raise your frequency, clear blockages, protection, connect you to your guardian angel. And then there's also, you can go look at the book now. I teach Reiki courses. I do workshops. I do one-on-one sessions, but you just need to email me and get on the waiting list because I open them month by month, and there's always a waiting list. And what else? Oh, there's so much. There's a group on the 11th of every month. Oh, I love it. It's my baby, and it's when I was at a retreat with Lee Harris, he was like, Natalie, you've got to do this. People need you, and so I created this, and it's every 11th of the month. It's a 30-minute powerful session. I have other teachers and spiritual teachers that come on and offer a gift. I channel the angels, and people receive like energy, like upgrades and healing and direct connection with the angels, and yeah. So it's called group channeling and meditation. So people can sign up for that as well.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So, and I'm sure that everybody didn't remember all of that great information. So, if you guys will jump over to the video description, at the bottom of the video description, I will list Natalie's website. Okay. And then from her website, it'll have links to everything else that she offers. So, Natalie, gosh, again, what a great conversation. Thank you so much for being here. I truly enjoyed it. And for
Oh,
you guys, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.